Jazzcast Pros.
Hello, and welcome back to a very special episode of Getting Real with Bossy. I almost said very special episode of Blossom.
It's that kind of day, and we haven't even started drinking yet. Cheers, Kelly.
Well, hopefully. Cheers. Cheers.
Welcome to January 20th, 2025.
Welcome. Yes, this is our second episode that we'll be drinking through. So, Inauguration Day. Here we are.
Here we are, a new group of people that think they're going to change the world.
Yeah. And, some things may get better. Some things will likely get worse.
You never know.
Yeah, so we have this idea of going through some of these proposed policies and seeing how it can help small businesses or what the effect might be. But per usual, none of it makes sense to us because they're all just proposals. So we'll go through what we can and make sense of what we know from our 92 years of business that we have between the two of us, because the pandemic adds, I think, a million years. So, yeah, let's get into it.
Let's start with tariffs because I'm drinking tequila, my drink of choice.
Does that come from America?
It does not. It actually legally cannot be made anywhere but Mexico. Guess what else can't be made other places? Champagne.
Mm-hmm.
Can only be made in Champagne. So all of the things that we love that cannot be made in America are now going to cost more.
Yeah, I think that's going to make, I get it. I get wanting things to be made locally for sure.
Yes.
I mean, support local. We're all about that. But I think that's going to be
100%.
tough. It's going to definitely be some increased costs for small businesses that are really relying on some of those materials.
There is a reason things cost less in other places because it doesn't cost the same to make them in other places.
Right.
So while we want everything to be made in America, the people who are willing to work at the lowest wages are going to be forced to leave. So another policy. Right. So we'll stick to tariffs for right now, and then we can go into deportation. But tariffs, other things directly that I'm a little nervous about. Yes, we do get half of our avocados from California, but the other half come from Mexico. Limes is another one. We have seen the effects of lime shortages in the past, and it is scary when you're looking at $1 a lime, and limes are like, this big. Do you want to talk about Trump policies?
Ew.
No? Okay. Sorry, I thought we had a guest speaker.
That would have been crazy. Amazing.
Should we pause? No. Do you need something?
You should just say hi. I want to say hi to Kelly.
You just wanted to say hi to Kelly. Well, say hi to our listeners, Harper.
Hello.
Hi, honey. I miss you.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
If you would like to talk about your concerns with the upcoming presidential policy debate, just come back and let us know.
I actually have a meeting to get to. I do have to go.
Okay, she's got to go.
She's very busy and important.
Kelly, what are some things that you're nervous about with tariffs?
I don't know how it's going to affect me directly as far as things that I need. I mean, limes, I don't have specific products like you do, but there are things that I know that we are getting a lot less expensive that are getting made. I think like to go, I think of just, it's that stuff people
Plastics.
Don't think about that. Plastic, all that stuff is not getting made here. And that's going to be a huge expense. I think it's those little things that people don't really think about when they, especially for hospitality, all those little things that they think, oh, why does it cost so much? Well, it's not just the meat for your steak or your burger. It's all the other things we have to buy that go into that. Those are the things that are going to go up, and we still have to buy those things.
Yes. I think a lot about China and plastics, and that we have created a reliance on them that I hate. But is this the answer? Is, imposing 100% tariff on every item coming from a certain country? Like, we created the monster. Like, there's got to be a way that we can fix it ourselves.
Right.
rather than making the average person pay the consequences, because certain people, most politicians, make enough money for that not to really affect their life.
Right, but it's not the average person, it's us. We're the ones that it's affecting.
Right.
Because we're the ones buying in bulk, not the
Yes.
average person.
Right. No, but
We're
I
the
just
ones
look
who
at
have to
like
buy.
just
Yeah.
like the average person that spends their money in our economy, right? Like that comes to us because ultimately they have to have the money to be able to eat out because
Right.
we're in hospitality. So they need this expendable income. Whether you're a hairstylist and you need to have the expendable income to get your hair done, right? Like these things all affect every business. We talked a lot about it last year with the after effects on small business of the pandemic and how the influxes of supporting local stopped happening because people couldn't afford it. So you're going and you're looking at the Amazons and you're looking at, I said the word. You're looking at the online options for the cheapest, version of what you can get.
Right.
And that's what scares me about tariffs.
Yep. You want to talk about immigration?
Well, there's so much that people don't think about when it's just an easy concept, right? Like, oh, you're here illegally, go home. Well, yeah, again, we kind of made this mess ourselves. But there are a group of people that are willing to do jobs that other people are not willing to do at a price point that other people are not willing to work at. And is that fair? No. But if you want things to be made affordably in the United States,
Who's going to do it?
Who's going to do it? And if you're, I don't know, I want to say it was like 750,000 people that he's looking to deport like immediately. All of those people are living in the States, which means they're spending money. Wherever they're getting their money from, whatever job they're doing, whether or not they're being employed fairly and legally, they're spending money in our communities. So what happens to that money?
Right.
That tax revenue, that purchasing power. So that's where I look at immigration is not only and they're also supporting families, right? Like a lot of immigrant families live together and support each other. So then you're breaking that up in your community. But the purchasing power of an individual, that's a lot of people to be leaving if it happens.
Mm-hmm. That's huge.
Cheers.
Cheers. God, I wish I didn't have to go to work after this. We've heard a lot, and I think it ended up going on both sides too, about taxes and taxing on tips and overtime and things like that. That's great, right? I'm going to try to find some actual information about this. So our employees will not get taxed on tips.
I guess not. But do I have to pay tax on their tips?
Somebody's going to, they're going to get their money. Like,
so what is
how
that
is that
mean?
not going to happen?
Yeah.
So we're going to end up paying more money.
And it's not like a huge chunk. I want to say I read it was like 2.5% of jobs get tipped. So like we're not talking about a giant influx of cash that you're giving to people, and you're not talking, same thing with Social Security, right? So if you're not taxing post 25,000 of Social Security income or whatever the number was, that isn't going to put a ton of purchasing power into the economy.
Right.
So really you're just vote mongering.
I just feel like we're going to get penalized for this, I'm sure, just like we're getting penalized for unemployment right now.
Yay! COVID won't cost you any money.
Right, because I just got my update for what I'm going to be charged in, what, a week? Next week? Is it next week that comes out of my account?
Yeah.
Yeah, the money that I'm going to be charged because New York State took too much money during COVID. So it has nothing to do with me or what my it's nothing to do with me.
Nope. Just you have to pay it back because you're a business owner.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yay.
So sometimes I feel like I'm being hazed for a sorority that I did not ask to join.
It's my new saddest quote ever.
Like I did decide to be a small business owner. I know I did make that choice, but man, some of this stuff doesn't seem right.
No, not at all.
So what else do we got coming to us?
They're shaving corporate taxes. They're talking about lowering that, which is great for the businesses that are making a ton of money. So we get to keep more money in the hands of big business. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh,
I'm going to be tipsy at the end of this short episode.
I think so too. I think I mean, gosh, we're not even a small business when it comes to any of this stuff. We're so micro business. It doesn't even matter. What small business is 500 employees?
Oh, according to the U.S. government.
Right. So
let's talk about inflation.
Sure.
I love when they talk about how prices only increased a small amount instead of a big amount.
Wow, my accountant would say differently.
I love when they're like, but look, the price of milk only went up 1%. And you're like, but it's still up 18% from where it was. Mm-hmm. Like, inflation's ending. No, we're still paying so much more than we did for everything. Like, can we please not look at, a comparison of last month and look at a comparison over the past decade?
No, we won't look at that. Yeah, it's insane. I always say, like, when people ask, how is business? How's business? And I try not to compare too much to 2019, but, we're doing the same-ish kind of volume, but our expenses have tripled almost. Like, stuff costs 3 times as much in some cases.
Insanity.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some things you think might go well this year with politics?
I won't have to live through another election year, so that's exciting.
Are you planning on dying in the next 4 years? Kelly Bush.
No, I mean this year. I won't have to have an election year this year.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? No. I'm not ready to euthanize my entire family.
I don't know, though. I feel like if anybody can get rid of the democratic system, it might be Trump. Who knows? Maybe we won't have another election. Who can say? But there won't be another election year this year, so that's exciting. I won't have to deal with that because that is very stressful. And it always is a difficult year in hospitality when you're going through an election year. I think that people will get out and spend a little bit more than they did last year. I think we're going to see spending go up for sure. I think people are going to pay attention. I think people are going to be spending with their brains a little bit more. I'm hoping so. Gosh, those are my hopes. Been a rough start to the year, I'll be honest. I had big plans for 2025, and it's been a struggle so far, but I do feel like I think hospitality is still going to be in a really, really, really hard place, but I do think some other industries are going to do well this year.
I want to hear more about what's going on with the budget process across the country with the increase in tax revenue that's come from the increase in pricing. So when our employees are making more money, we're getting more payroll tax. When we're paying more for goods and services, they're getting more income or sales tax, getting more income tax. I know New York State is doing a refund. I saw something briefly at the end of the year that there was a nice extra cushion, so they're going to give some money back, which I was like, oh, that's nice. Prices are up so high that you made too much money in revenue for the state. And I want to know like what that means for the country. So that's something I'm interested to kind of see the fallout of the cost of 2024 and like what that looks like in government for 2025. Maybe we'll all get refunds.
I think you're insane. I love you.
Well, I'm tipsy now, so.
Cheers.
Cheers. So yeah, I think that's pretty much like the top arguments. I know that they talk about, ending the war in Ukraine. Not really sure how that works other than like giving it to Russia. Not really sure. I know that I learned when the Ukraine war started, wow, I am tipsy, how much we were actually importing from Ukraine. I didn't realize how large the country was and how much we were getting from them, like on like raw materials and resources.
Right.
Things that we cannot mine in the United States because they don't exist. So that's another interesting thing to watch.
I did read, I pulled up a bunch of sites when we were preparing for this. Something about increased investment in vocational training and workplace apprenticeships.
Ooh, okay.
I can't find where I found that, but if that is the case, that I am A-okay with and super excited for. Go President Trump.
Yes, we
I
need
can't
more
find where I
vocational
saw
training.
that. But if that is the case, then I am all for that. I don't know where I found it. So if anybody can find that, please send that to me.
I mean,
I'm
it would
all for
make
that.
sense if you're trying to have jobs come back to the States, you need people to do them.
Yeah, right. And there needs to be an investment in that because kids are not going to school. And nobody can afford to send kids to school anymore anyway.
No.
But, I'm going to try and stay positive this year. I really, last year I wanted to work on the manifestations and the manifesting and affirmations, and I did squat. I did none of that. So I'm going to try that again this year.
You're going to make an affirmation to manifest.
I'm going to make an affirmation. I'm going to write it on my my bathroom mirror so you can see it every morning. Affirmation. Affirm.
Affirmative.
I really want it to be a year, like we've talked about. I want it to be a quieter year. I want it to be a year where I'm just not so anxious all the time and be able to take some step back a little bit and relax and breathe. I don't even necessarily need to relax. I'd like to be able to take a deep breath every once in a while.
Yes.
I don't feel like I took a deep breath much of 2024.
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I did last year. Like with my time.
We went to DC that one time.
That was fun.
I remember we took a road trip to DC.
We went to DC twice last year, didn't we? Because we went
did
and
go
saw.
to DC twice.
We did the legislative tour. We met with our legislators and argued the case for small businesses and what we needed.
Yep, we did that.
And then we did the podcast.
That's right. So we did stuff.
That was almost 2 whole weeks of my 2024 that can be accounted for. Affirmed.
Exactly. I know nothing else. I have no idea what else I did. I had a grandchild. I had a grandchild. I did that too.
Thank you, President Trump, for Kelly's grandbaby. She's perfect.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there were a couple key moments and the rest was just pretty much shit.
Not 2025.
Nope. 2025 is going to be the year of deep breaths.
Let's do it.
That's my biggest hope.
Maybe we'll start our next meetup with the two of us about our affirmation of the month.
I love it. Sounds good to me.
Well, cheers, Kelly.
Cheers to you. This has been a lot of fun. I hope some of these policies work out well for the micro businesses that we own and we love.
Yes, maybe next time we'll talk about the effects of micro businesses on Main Street USA and the economic impact. I don't think we've done that in a little bit. Well, be bold.
Be brave.
Be the boss.
Be the boss.